Great product, great marketing. People want to buy stuff. If you know how to put it in front of them with good marketing, you're going to get rich.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Perfectly Mentored. I'm your host, Jason Portnoy. My guest on this episode is Mark Lack. He is the founder of Shorten the Gap, a marketing and education consulting company. He is the go-to expert when it comes to personal branding. He's the TV host of Business Rockstars, where he's interviewed over 1,000 people. A lot of names that you've seen on this podcast, Mark is friends with and has interviewed. Man, we're going to talk about building your brand online and building a personal brand presence and how to do it the right way. Mark is a super, super smart guy. You're not going to want to miss this episode. Check it out. Mark, welcome to the show. Great to have you here. It's about time.
Great to be here, man. I know we've been planning this for a minute.
Let's dive right in, because I know you have a ton of value to give, and I'm sure you're going to give a ton of practical advice. But let's start with, I guess, your story. How'd you become the go-to guy for personal branding?
So I'll keep my story short. And yours was more directed towards how did I get into personal branding. So I'll skip a lot of my story.
We could go into your story, your entrepreneurial story too. I mean, from start to personal branding. I don't mean to just, I don't want to pigeonhole you as just the personal branding guy. I know you're a really talented entrepreneur. So
appreciate it, bro. So so I'll fly through it because people, will care more about the value that I can serve them on this interview than my backstory. But it is always nice to hear a little bit about, someone's backstory so you know where they came from. Was the troublemaker in school, grew up with, my parents in Tustin, which is like a tiny little neighborhood in California. Humble beginnings, parents didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot. And just didn't like school for whatever reason. I just kind of hated authority and teachers. And I don't know why. At a young age, my parents said, even at like 2 and 3, like, I don't even remember, they're like, you hated teachers and schools. And that became a lot more, obvious in like high school and college. I just, for whatever reason, I was the class clown, getting in trouble, fighting, hanging out with some of the wrong people. And so that gave me a label early on. You're a failure. You're not going to go anywhere in life because, school is an indication for your future. Not, but that's what a lot of parents and teachers think is like, oh, if you have straight A's, you're probably going to go on a path of successful career. If you're failing and getting in fights and getting suspended, like I was, you're probably not going to have a very bright future. So early on, I was labeled a failure. You're not going to achieve anything. It doesn't feel good, even though I was like, who cares? I'm going to go and get rich. I don't know how, but I'm going to. So long story short, that was kind of my upbringing. It was like, I hated school. My parents put me in every sport possible. I hated all the rules. And then weirdly enough, paintball, of all things, where you run around and shoot each other. For whatever reason, at like 12 years old, my brother had a birthday party and I went, and I was terrified out of my mind, but I loved it. I was hooked. And so from about 12 years old, I started to really get into it. And then all of a sudden it just clicked and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to play professionally. I see these guys traveling all over the world, competing and making what I thought at the time was pretty good money if you were on one of the top teams in the world. And so I said, I'm going to do this. And long story short, by 18 years old, I was one of the top 10 players on the planet. And I made $300,000 in high school playing professional paintball. So I went from being this troublemaker punk who was just looking like I wasn't going to have any bright future. Not that paintball is a bright future, but in high school alone, I became one of the top 10 players in the world. I traveled 250,000 miles around the globe: Amsterdam, London, Belgium, Germany, Paris, England. I went to Canada. I went to 42 out of the 50 states in America. I literally had like almost elite status in American Airlines in high school because I was flying so much. I was gone, which didn't help my school. I was gone like almost every other week in another state or country. But I made 300 grand in high school. Weirdly enough, right? If you become one of the best in the world at anything, like top 10 in the world at anything, I don't care what it is, you're going to make 6 figures. And so that was me in high school. Only perpetuated my hatred for school. But, long story short, got into college, majored in marketing because I was like, I got to make money. So I looked around and I was like, I'm not going to make money playing paintball. Like, this is not my future. So I had this weird inner conflict though. I was like the loser in school, but the best in the world at paintball. So I was like, I felt like Superman. I was like, I'm super significant in paintball, which means nothing, but I'm insignificant and stupid in school. So I was like, I got to find a way to prove, because you know how that starts when you're young and immature. I got to prove to everybody else that I can be successful. And so, for me, I started hitting the internet. So how do I get rich? How do I become confident? How do I become successful? How do I become like a cool guy? And I came across Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins was one of the few people who just spoke to me like through the computer. And I was like, damn, I was like, this guy just like totally is speaking my language. For whatever reason, Tony knew how to say the right words, and I was also ready. And it changed my life. Tony put me on a path of self-mastery, personal development, understanding that if I wanted to change my external reality, I needed to change my internal beliefs, values, confidence, how I communicate with myself and with others, how I show up. And it just became a ripple effect. So from 18 years old, I'm now 31. I've just been on this insane journey of personal development. If people are listening, you can't see, but I have a bookshelf behind me with about 1,000 books that I've read all of. And this is just one of my bookshelves. And it's funny because I was a kid who hated school. I would never pick up a book. I'd never finish it. And now I'm like obsessed with learning and reading and growing and developing myself and my business skills. Then at 23, I graduated college because I was stupid. It took me 5 years to graduate. It took other people 4 years. And I mean stupid in the sense of like in school, I was dumb academically, but self-motivated and self-educated. And then I was like, I'm 23. I can either go and sell for somebody else and make a lot of money, but I'm still going to be underneath like their thumb. I'll be like the best sales guy, but I'll be under their thumb. So I was like, I got to figure out, how do I just start my own company? So I started my own business, got into the coaching space first. I was like, I've read 1,000 books, and I have a lot of family and friends that are doctors, and you only have to read 60 books and pass a dissertation and all the other stuff that you have to do. But you have to read 60 books to become a doctor. 60. Some read 100 books to become a doctor. I've read 1,000 books on personal development, psychology, neurolinguistic programming, influence, copywriting, marketing, spiral dynamics, holodynamics. Really just saying that I've put a lot of time and effort into learning information that I believe can not only has changed my life, but can change others. And so I said, you know what? I want to teach other young adults in high school and college that I'm a little bit older than, how they can learn this information. Because I was the punk who's now, relatively successful at a young age. I want to teach other people this. So I went after like wealthy parents who could afford to pay for their kids to get coaching. And I was like going to be the young Tony Robbins, because Tony Robbins changed my life. And so you know how you want to be like your mentor when you're growing up. So for me, now I realize I don't want to be like Tony. I just want to continue to emulate and model the patterns that he has, communication patterns, confidence patterns, how he shows up. And so, I was like that. I positioned myself as like the young Tony Robbins for your kid. Your kid won't resonate with Tony Robbins. Probably they should, but they probably won't, because he's 58. And I'm the same age as your kid almost. So let me sit down with your kid. Let me coach them and talk to them as a peer. And then give them some of this amazing life-changing information that I've learned from great mentors like Think and Grow Rich with Napoleon Hill, How to Win Friends and Influence People with it's either, I always get Dale Carnegie and Andrew Carnegie mixed up. Dale Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie, I think, was the richest man in the world. Dale Carnegie wrote the book.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, all this amazing information, I wanted to share it with other people, because I'm that kind of person where like I still do education for a living, even though I have a bigger investment portfolio than my business revenue. And I have an 8-figure company. And I could just do investing for the rest of my life with my portfolio, but I love education. I'm passionate about it, as people will see when we dive into like sharing tactical advice. So yeah, I did that. And then all of a sudden I was making $250,000 out of college. I was making like $250,000 a year, which might sound nice. Most people don't make $250,000 ever. And I was making it my first year out of college because I knew how to sell. I knew how to market. And most importantly, I knew how to personally brand myself as an individual that wealthy parents would say, I trust this young man. I'm going to pay him to coach my child and help them in college or high school with whatever. So I was making $250,000 a year. And then I started to like help kids with stuff that I wasn't really prepared for, like talking about, and even though I'd studied it, I didn't really want to do this. And I was helping kids with like suicide and like stuff their parents didn't know, and like sexual abuse and crazy stuff that I was like, whoa, I'd studied strategic intervention and therapy and psychology and other things. So I felt like I could talk to them, but after a while it started to feel like a burden on me. I was like, I'm not the kind of person who can just sit here and like walk people through this, even though I did. And I changed so many people's lives. I built up an amazing portfolio of testimonials of kids sharing things with me and parents saying how their, child's life changed. But for whatever reason, I was like, no, what I want to do? I want to help businesses with their sales and their marketing, the same way that as a college graduate who was labeled stupid and the failure his whole life, and I barely passed college with C's after 5 years, I finally had enough credits So I was like, you know what? I'm going to help people with sales and marketing. So then I started to shift into sales and marketing. And then I realized, man, everybody teaches sales and marketing. There's all these guys and gals that have been doing this for 20 years and have a brand as like the number one sales trainer, the number one marketing company or person. And Jay Abraham, the $20 billion marketing guy. And I'm like, Jesus. And those are all my mentors. I was like, I don't want to compete against them and make them feel like you learned from me and now you're coming after my market share. So I was like, number one thing with sales and marketing, how are you going to be different? How's your message different? And so for me, I was like, I'm going to be the personal brand guy. I'm going to teach people. And this was back in 2013, before personal branding and thought leadership and influencer marketing was trendy and popular. And so for me, I was like, you know what? I want to help people with their personal brand. I'm going to help them really differentiate and stand out. And so for me, then I pivoted my sales and my marketing messaging to be called personal branding. So then I was like, I'm going to be the guy at the top of the mountain who puts the stake in the ground and says, I'm the king of personal branding. I'm the guy. And then use all my sales and my marketing tactics to help me become that person. And, things just took off. We quickly jumped to 1 million and then a multi-million and then 8 figures a year, which is over 10 million a year. And yeah, dude, we're just on the rocket ship right now. If anything, I'm throttling down because, I have a child on the way. My wife and I are pregnant. And I'm not like trying to build $100 million company with hundreds of employees. So right now, bro, like I said, I'm just enjoying life. That's kind of how I got to being into personal branding, wrapped with sales and marketing, like a date wrapped with bacon. I'm like, it's personal branding, but it's wrapped with sales and marketing, which is how we help people make a ton of money instead of just being like, let's build your vanity metrics and following and likes and comments and shares and get you some PR. We don't do that. That's part of it. It's like a leaf on the branch of the tree, but we really focus on sales and marketing. So yeah, dude, that's kind of how I got to the whole personal branding thing, just so people have full context.
Love it. And we're going to dive into personal branding, but I got it. You're a rookie in the baby coming your way. Something I've been correcting on a lot is we are not pregnant. I am pregnant. Right. There's no we. I've been told this multiple times. So I'm just letting you know, I don't want you to go through the same problems I've had. So just
it's funny because I've said it a few times. I'm like, my wife is pregnant. And then, she being nice is always like, we're pregnant. We're expecting.
We are eating for 2.
Yeah.
We are doing a lot of things together, but we are not pregnant. But yeah.
Some people are more sensitive.
Yeah, exactly.
And definitely she's doing all the work.
Yes, our work is it was limited.
Yeah.
So when it comes to personal branding, I mean, I think it's funny because personal branding is a weird thing. Everyone has a personal brand, whether they like it or not, or whether they want to have one or not. So how important is it to develop it, and how important is it to grow it?
So like you said, bro, I mean, everybody has a personal brand. And another way of saying that is your reputation, right? So like what happens when somebody's wanting to work with you, as maybe they want to hire you for a job in a corporation or company, or whether they want to work with you as a client. Like if somebody wants to like look me up after this and be like, who's that Mark Lack guy? There's going to be thousands and thousands of things on the internet. And those are things that I've done my best to do 2 things. One, if you come in contact with me and you work with me, there's a ripple effect where I'm going to have like a 90% positive ratio. Of course, no one's going to have a 100% positive ratio. Maybe a product, maybe, but no person is going to have a 100% ratio, because someone's going to be like, oh, that guy's stupid because this reason or this reason or this reason, or he said we're pregnant, not his wife's pregnant. Whatever reason, people are always going to find a reason to not like another individual. So when somebody works with me, I want to have like a 90% positive score on the internet of what others are saying about me, which means that the perception and the control others are having is positive overall, 90%. And then I want to have my content and my perception as well be a certain way. Now, being in alignment with my authentic self, but just like you'd be aware when talking to your mother to be a little bit more tailored to your mother than when you're talking with your homies, than when you're talking on stage, than when you're talking on a podcast, than when you're talking to your daughter, you have a new level of awareness for how you want to authentically show up. It's still the same you, but you have an awareness to control how you're showing up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
You're still being your authentic self. You're just having awareness to show up a certain way for that person or audience. That's personal branding. Being aware that you have to control the perception you want to have on your audience. I want my future daughter, who's being, a bun in the oven with my wife, when she's born, I want her to perceive me a certain way. I want my wife to perceive me a certain way, still being my authentic self so they know the real me. But you get the point. That's personal branding, but doing that on the internet to all the possible people you'd ever want to work with you. So when they find you on the internet, it's as if they know who you are. It's as if they've been in my house. You may never have met me. You'll know my wife. When my daughter's born, you'll know my daughter, and you'll know my business partner. You'll know some of my employees. You'll know a lot about me. You'll have an idea that I live in Orange County, California, that I invest a lot, that I'm invested in crypto and all these other things. You'll know a lot about me, even though we've never met. And then through that, you'll also be like, oh, you know what? I resonate with this guy, his values, his beliefs, what he stands for. Sorry
to interrupt, but how much is too much, right? Like certain people are like, do I have to show my family and my kids on the internet? Do I have to go all this? Like
you don't have to.
Okay.
You don't have to, but this is my belief. There's two types of content. If you want to break personal branding into two content categories, obviously there's all these other things people teach. I'm teaching one of my models right now, and it's two categories: broad content, niche content. Broad content connects you with people the same way that you would share something with your buddy drinking a beer or having a cup of coffee, catching up after a couple months of not seeing each other. It's the same thing you'd share with your family at a family gathering, catching up, sharing what's new. You wouldn't share your niche content with your family and your friends. You wouldn't be like, hey, let me teach you the best marketing funnel that I just studied. They'd be like, bro, we're catching up over family. Like, what are you doing? This is weird. And they'd almost be like, they'd annoyed. They'd be like, can you believe this? Every time he's at the family gathering, all he does is talk about his business. It's annoying. And they don't love you for that. They love you for the broad content. Hey, oh man, I'm trying to lose weight right now and it's tough. So I hired a trainer and I'm eating all these new things. And you talk about what's going on in your personal life and what you're dealing with. And then you throw in, how's business? Oh, you know what? Business is good. Your family and your friends love you for the broad content, not the niche content. They don't love you because you're a business expert. They don't love you because you sell that product or service. And so you have two categories of personal branding. Some people show up only as the expert. You don't know their family. You don't know their team. You don't know anything about them except they're the expert at real estate. Hey, I'm the go-to real estate guy. And the problem with that is people are going to see you as an expert, but they're never going to see you as a person that they can connect with because they don't know anything personally about you. You can't truly know somebody if they only talk about how smart they are and what they sell and what their business does and what their ventures are. And so for me, I like the personal side of personal branding. And that's where you share some broad content. Now, the degree and the complexity of how you want to share your personal side, that's up to you. If you don't want to share that, like stuff I don't share all the time, but I'll share on the podcast, like broad content would be me being like, my mom's going through cancer and she really is, and it sucks. And I try to spend more time with my family right now. That's broad content. That has nothing to do with me as the personal branding guy, because at the end of the day, you're probably not going to connect with me as a person when I only talk about this. You might be like, dude, that guy's smart. He knows his shit. But over here, when I'm like, so my mom's going through cancer, my wife is pregnant, we have a daughter coming. I almost died in 2018 of sepsis, a blood infection. That's crazy stuff going on in my life, or that did go on in my life. That's going to connect us as people. That's going to be a part of my story of who I am and what I'm going through. So you can go, damn, this is just a regular dude who's going through some stuff, just like all of us do. Oh, he also happens to be successful on the internet, and he can teach me a lot about sales, marketing, and personal branding. But it's the personal side of me that connects me to you as an individual. And then, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's where people get caught up, right? Because they always think my life is boring, no one cares. And the hard part is them getting over that, of making content around their daily lives.
Yeah. And again, my ratio I like personally is some balance between like 60-40, 60%. Here's what I'm doing in my career. Here's what I'm doing as a business person. Here's the products, the services that I sell. Here's how I make money. And here's how I want to be perceived when somebody finds me on the internet. Wow, this person is the expert on this stuff, the niche content. Oh, by the way, I really vibe with this person because on a personal level, we believe in God. We like the same sports teams. We, drink the same drink. We eat the same restaurants. We both have daughters. We both this, whatever. personally you like me. And guess what? If I get you to personally like me, you're going to choose my services over somebody else's.
Makes sense.
So that's why I like personal branding, because this, you know how they say like friends buy from friends.
Yep.
And people buy from those they trust. If you meet me and we sit down and have coffee or have lunch together, there's a good chance that if I wanted to sell you on something, I could, because we're face to face, we're at lunch, I'm going to connect with you on a personal level. And then we're going to talk business. And because we connected on a personal level face to face, there's a good chance you're going to sign up. Versus if I skipped all of that and I just went, hey, I'm going to pitch you right now. You ready? And I'm going to go straight for the sale. That's not as good as if I took time to connect with you as a person. And so I believe on social media, people want some kind of connection. They want some type of trust, and they want to feel like the person they're choosing to buy from is somebody they would also choose to maybe be friends with. Not always, but at least I trust you and I believe you're a good person.
So, I mean, I love all that. So I'd love to go a bit deeper on that with you, because I think it's a hard thing to do when you're trying to talk to the masses, right? And be seen as charismatic, be seen as energetic and friendly and trustworthy. What are some of your top tips for people to like be seen as that and not be seen as that annoying guy who always just puts out content about this, and this?
So first off, you want to find balance. You want to be your authentic self. Like, I'm a natural introvert, but I know how to turn it on. And I've had to practice turning it on. And what turning it on means is like, I jump on this podcast right now. I was at the studio at Wednesday filming for hours on camera. I go on stage, I do all these other things, and I have to turn it on, right? I have to get in this mental state and be like, move my body and get energized and like amp myself up, maybe drink an energy drink or something, or a greens drink, give myself some energy and be in the mental state. And you go at first, at least I did. I don't know what everyone else will go through, but I went through, oh my God, what are people going to think about me? How are they going to judge me? What if I say something wrong? What if I look stupid? What if I sound stupid? And dude, now I don't give a shit. Like, now I'm just me. Part of it's because as your success goes up, you just kind of like, I don't have anything to prove. I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't need anybody to like me. I don't need anybody. Like, you asked me, what should we plug at the end of the episode? And I was like, bro, I don't need to plug anything. I was like, just send them to my website. Cause now, and before I would be like, send them to my funnel, my lead magnet. I don't care anymore. And so some of the confidence comes from like results, because there's two types of confidence. There's confidence from results and references. Like, I know I'm a badass. Look at all my achievements. Look at my references of what I've achieved. That's one form of confidence. Another form of confidence is you're in the freaking trenches and you're doing the work. And we all know what happens when you go to the gym every single day. You're going to get freaking jacked. You're going to lose weight. You're going to get shredded. You're going to gain muscle. You're going to have more energy. You're going to get stronger and stronger. So even if it's day one in the gym, but you're showing up every single day, you can have confidence in knowing you're the person who not only does the work, but who finishes the work. And confidence can come from that place. And so for people listening right now, if you don't have the confidence because you don't have the results, at least you can have the confidence for doing the work. I meet people who don't have the confidence, and I say, which one of it is those things? And they say, well, I don't have the results. And I say, well, you're also not doing the work then, are you? And they go, no, I'm not. And that's the difference. The confidence can come from just doing the work. And that's where I got a lot of my confidence early on. I was like, I know I'm going to beat you because I'm going to outwork you, because I'll be here in 10 years, every single day, grinding relentlessly. And that's how I know I'm going to win. I'm the long-term investment. I'm the marathon runner. I don't need to sprint. I can just chug along every single day, and I'll get my confidence from that. And then when you have the confidence, you can show up better. And when you have the confidence, you stop thinking about yourself, because nervous people are thinking about themselves. What's going to happen to me? Confident people, they don't care. They're thinking about an outcome. And my outcome is always, how am I going to impact somebody? How am I going to serve somebody? And so when you come from that place, then you can shift from introvert to extrovert. Introvert is, I don't want to be perceived stupid. I don't want people to judge me. I'd rather just stay out of the conversation and sit back here. People don't need to hear my voice right now. I don't have anything to contribute. Extrovert is, I want to make a difference because I have something to contribute, because I know that I can make a difference in someone's life, because I'm either doing the work, and this work could change your life too. I haven't achieved the result yet, but I'm doing the work and I'm feeling great about it, and you could too. Or on the other side, I've already achieved the results and I've got financial freedom and time freedom to spend with my family. And if you want that, I can show you how to do it too. So my first confidence early on when I was coaching people came from, I'm doing the work and this is amazing. And then now my confidence comes from,
Results.
I've made the results happen. It's a reality. And I can talk to you about what is it like to make $100,000 a year, $100,000 a month, $100,000 a week, and even $100,000 a day, and even $100,000 in an hour. And I can talk about what every one of those stages feels like. And then tell you, how did I do it? What are you trying to achieve? And give you a roadmap. Because at the end of the day, every business uses sales and marketing to make money. And my expertise is sales and marketing. So I'm pretty damn confident I can go to any company, any person, and help them make more money.
And I think what really sets you apart is becoming the authority, right? We don't need to talk about the importance of being authority. I know where you stand on it, and people should. And I think there's a real science behind becoming an authority, right? It's like when you see a car pop up on the street all the time that you were going to go buy, right? You're going to go look for a car, and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. It's the same type of thing when you become omnipresent, right? And you start popping up everywhere. It's that same type of, like, it's not that there are more cars on the road now.
Yeah, your reticular activation system is what it's called. Your RAS, reticular activation system, which is like right now, if I told everybody who's listening or watching, find everything around you right now that's red. Find everything around you that's red. I have a red candle here. I don't have much red in my room. There's a red binder up there. There's some red books behind me. There's red on this Evian bottle. And then if I said, now, how many things did you see that were purple? You'd be like, I didn't see anything purple. You told me to look. You told me to look for what was red.
Yep.
That's the point, is I've conditioned my brain to only focus on the things that I want. And I can actually condition my audience to stay focused on me.
Exactly. So, but here's the question that people ask all the time, right? And it's the vanity metric question. If it's, it's a lot harder to grow following to 250,000 followers, 1 million followers now than it was 3, 4, 5 years ago.
For sure.
You see a lot of entrepreneurs now paying for followers, or they join loops and pods, whatever it is. Do you recommend people do that? Because the pushback that you'll get is, how can I be an authority with 54 followers?
So look, there's so many people. This is the biggest problem I see, is there's so many people out there, credible people too, not so-and-so, not Jimmy 123, who hits you up in your DMs and says, hey, I got a growth campaign. And you're like, Jimmy, you've got 7 followers. I don't believe your growth campaign is going to work. But credible people, or perceived credible, back to the whole perception is reality thing. Perceived people who have a blue check mark, they have a big following. You never heard of them before, but they hit you up and they say, hey, I've got this thing. Or worse, your friend recommends this company because they heard good things. And then guys like you and me say, you know what? Sure, I'll pay $5,000 and I'll try this out to grow my following, because I'm trying to build my audience, as any smart business person would be right now. You understand the value of building a tribe and a community and an audience, and it's tough because those sons of bitches keep changing the algorithms and making our engagement drop through the floor, and so you try it, you pay, and then you find out what you paid for was garbage. And now you've got like 20,000 followers that are like shit, and they're not the people you wanted, and it's not what they said. And then you're like, God, I'm over the $5,000 because it's just negligible. It's not even like worth chasing down. So I'm not going to ask for a refund, but damn it, now I got 20,000 freaking Joe Schmoes. I don't know if they're real. If they are, they're not my audience that I wanted. And now you're like, shit, I'm stuck with 20,000 of the wrong followers. And then the problem is, then you get people who look at your social media and they go, meh, 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 meh. And you're like, bro, you don't understand. I wasn't trying to buy fake followers. I got conned into paying for a service that was supposed to be trustworthy, and they sent me the wrong one. And they're apologizing and say they're going to fix it. And I'm like, I don't want you to fix it because I'm afraid you're going to mess it up even more. And that's what happens to a lot of people. Is I think only idiots are going out and buying fake followers. Like, you got to be a real idiot to go. That's like saying I'm going to go and get fake money and try to buy my groceries. You got to be a real dumbass to go get fake money to try to buy your groceries without knowing there's a consequence. You got to be pretty stupid to go and buy fake followers and expect that your engagement is not going to look like shit. And so, not to mention, they're already messing with the algorithm. So now you're really going to look bad. So I think that there's a problem in the industry where a lot of the stuff that happens, or for example, you find another one and you find, this celebrity or influencer group is going to shout you out for $10,000 and you can get 30,000 followers. and you go, you know what? Okay, this one's at least legit. So you pay the 10 grand and then all these celebrities shout you out. And you get a bunch of real followers. But the problem is they're all people who wanted an iPhone and a Louis purse and some cash and a MacBook and an iPhone. And so now you got 30,000 people following you, but most of them are just, the person at the concert who wants the free t-shirt and a sticker. And they're not somebody who's legit. And so what you realize is most of these people with 5 million, 10 million, 20 million followers, they also have a large percentage that are the audience that's never going to buy anything. And so it starts to really come down to a couple factors. Is an audience that engages with your content what you want? Is an audience that buys from you what you want? Is a large number of followers what you want? There's a lot of different key metrics. And I think people just look at number of followers and number of engagement, and that's fine. But there's a lot of other factors at play. And so I know, there's girls with influencers like 2 million followers and they get like 100,000 likes on every post, but they don't make much money. They only make like 10 grand, $15,000 a month. And it's like, Jesus, you have 2 million followers and only make $10,000 a month. I have 150,000 followers and I make 10 million. I make $1 million a month. You know what I mean? I make over $10 million a year and I have 150,000 followers and I make $1 million a month. I make 10 times I make in 1 month what you would make in 10 years. And so, but you have 2 million followers. So what do you really want? Do you want the 2 million followers? Does that make you look more credible, or does making $1 million a month make you look more credible? And I think that's the other misconception that our industry has is there's influencers, right? Because people sometimes say to me, Mark, why don't you have 1 million followers? And I'm like, I could, but every time I seem to write that check for some growth, it ends up being a little bit off. And what you realize is it's a numbers game. Like Gary Vaynerchuk, who's been on your show here, had 9 million followers. Well, we all know 8 million of them are shit, and they might like, comment, and share. Maybe not, but a number of 9 million is so big, and the engagement, even if it's at like 1%, is still ridiculous. He's still getting 90,000 people engaging on every post and 1 million views on every video. So it doesn't matter. It's a law of averages. Is the dream scenario. You have a nice audience that keeps growing and the engagement keeps growing. Great. It's very unrealistic in today's society because the algorithms keep changing. And if you're somebody who doesn't post controversial, entertaining, attractive content, emotionally provoking content, you're probably not going to get that good of engagement. Look, I know how to manipulate the game too. I know if I post something right now, I know I can get an insane amount of engagement, but I can't, with me and my brand, my broad content and my niche content, I can't be that guy who's constantly making a viral video about something controversial. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know if I filmed a video right now and said,
no, of course you could talk about politics. You could talk about a lot of different things going on.
Exactly. Yeah. Like if I was like, anybody want to know who I voted for, or anybody want to know what my thoughts are on this? And I did something where you're just like hitting the beehive with a baseball bat and, all the bees go crazy. That's social media. I know exactly what to do.
But can you be the personal branding guy if you had, 10,000 followers, right? There's still a certain image that like, forget, I agree on the engagement side of anything like that. And I'm with you, right?
But I wanted to explain why that happens.
I'll let you, and I tell clients this all the time. It's a vanity metric, the amount, but it's still the new people that first come to get introduced to you and they click on you and they're like, what? 54 followers? Nah.
That's why I have 150,000 and a blue check mark, because I'm verified, so I'm legit. Yeah. That's why I have that, because I believe that like 100,000 followers and above with a blue check mark is just the sweet spot where nobody can really say shit. And my engagement fluctuates depending on the content I post. My engagement fluctuates depending on if I spend my own money to boost and promote a post. And my engagement, and which, by the way, my account's banned right now, so I'm not even able to pay money to promote my post. And so I'm getting it fixed. And then it fluctuates depending on if they change the algorithm or not. I mean, I know people like Ed Milet, who's never done one shout out, one giveaway, one promotional post ever, has 2 million followers, and he's got 2 million legit followers, never had an issue. And he's even saying all the time, God, they keep changing the algorithm. My engagement's dropping dramatically. And then heaven forbid you share your beliefs about your thoughts on, the vax or anything like that. And boom, your account's banned. Your engagement gets plummeted 99%. And then people are like, oh, your engagement's shit. And it's like, is it? Or did I just speak the truth? And now all of a sudden social media gods are banning me from letting anybody see my stuff. So for me, I'm kind of jaded because I kind of hate social media for all of the reasons mentioned. And then at the same time, I love social media because it's a tool for us to connect with people. It's a tool for us to create value through content and connect. And a lot of people use it to consume and judge and waste time. And so I have a love-hate relationship with social media. It's made me millions of dollars, but at the same time, it also, man, it's ruining so many people's lives. Like if you watch The Social Dilemma, the documentary, I already knew all that stuff. That's why I make a lot of money, because I understand what the platform is and I'm able to use it for my benefit. Most people are being used for other people's benefits and they're not capitalizing on the platform that they're spent hours on. So yeah, dude, it's an interesting platform. I think at the end of the day, you do need to grow your following though, if you want to have credibility. So you can't be the personal branding guy with 50 followers. I don't even think you could be the chiropractor with 50 followers. I don't even think you should be the bagel shop with 50 followers. I think you need to focus on engagement and growth. But I think above that, I think you need to focus on having a great product. I think you need to focus on having something that people want to buy. It's not a great product that you and your mother said is good. It's a product that you already see in the marketplace. There's demand for this product. People are already buying this product. I'm going to make this product better. And then I'm going to market and sell it better than everyone else in the marketplace. And if you do that, I think you're going to stand out, and social media won't matter as much. But I think the problem is people are saying, I'm going to get big on social, and they don't have a product and they don't have anything to sell. So then they're building an audience. Remember, social media's only job is to build an audience. And how do you make money? Well, one of two ways. The social media platform like YouTube pays you a part of the ad revenue, so you get money for being a content creator. That's really difficult, and it fluctuates like crazy, and it's not really a good bet on becoming successful. I would not bet on somebody doing that and being successful. Now, you should still do it, but then you need to have, you're building an audience. You need to sell that audience something yourself instead of hoping and praying that YouTube pays you a little bit for the ad revenue that I ran on your channel. So you want to do both. You want to hope that you can make money from that, but you want to sell that audience a product and a service. And remember, people love to buy. So when I say sell, I don't mean that in a negative way. People don't like to be sold to, but they like to buy. So if you build a connection with somebody on social media, then when you invite them to a webinar or a PDF or a challenge or a quiz or your pay-per-view that you're doing for your fight, whatever it is that you're inviting people to, if they like you and they trust you because they follow you and consume your content consistently every day, every week, every month, every year, they're going to probably want to buy from you. So when you build an audience, you have a way to make sure you can monetize it without hoping and praying YouTube gives you money this month or Facebook gives you money this month for being a content creator. That's why so many influencers are broke, and why they, rent their car, rent their apartment and look successful, but they're not, because they're month to month hoping that they get content creator checks from YouTube and Facebook or sponsors, because they don't actually know how to make money. They don't know how to make money without somebody giving it to them, not for a product, but just for being like, I'm on social media. I have 1 million followers. It's like, no, I could have 0 followers. I could delete all my social media and still make millions of dollars because of what I first said. Great product, great marketing. Great product, great marketing. People want to buy stuff. If you know how to put it in front of them with good marketing, you're going to get rich. And then your social media following doesn't matter. So if you said, Mark, what would you rather choose, a great product and great marketing or a following of 5 million people? I'd say a great product and great marketing. And then once I have a successful business that makes me millions of dollars, I can buy 5 million followers. And I don't mean that fake. I mean, like, I can pay Facebook to run like campaigns where I say, hey, my name's Mark Lack. And if you like to grow your personal brand and marketing and sales and how to start an online business and make money from home, then subscribe to my channel or follow my page. So you can run like campaigns. So just like I can buy customers on YouTube ads, I can buy social media growth. Otherwise, I'd have 5 million followers and I have to go and get a product with great marketing to make money anyway. So at the end of the day, I don't think the followers matter. I don't think the engagement matters. If you're truly making a difference in people's lives with great products that have good marketing and sales to back them and be profitable, and then scale that up with a team of people so that you can get rich. Because at the end of the day, you can't pay your bills with followers. When the economy crashes any day now, a couple of months or years from now, you can't pay your bills with your followers. You can't buy Bitcoin with your followers. And so at the end of the day, I would always rather choose money over followers because then I can take care of my family and my future daughter And honestly, like, I don't care about social media. I use it as a tool. Like Grant Cardone, I think you said, has also been on here. I like to use it as a tool. As soon as that tool is no longer helpful for my family and for me to be able to serve you, look, I know how to get in front of my audience. I got affiliates, I got joint ventures, I got radio, television, I got YouTube, I got Google. I got lots of different ways I can reach people. So Instagram and Facebook, it's not going to hinder my life, my business, or my finances. And I think that's the misconception a lot of people have, is social media is everything. It's like, this is how I'm going to get rich. If that's how you're going to get rich, you got a problem, because you're all in on one platform. And
they probably don't even have a good offer.
That's the other thing, right? Like, if you have a great offer, it's so easy to help you make money, because remember, getting in front of people is the easiest thing in the world. Knowing how to get in front of them with a product and a service that they want to buy, that's harder, because most people.
I tell this to clients all the time. If you found a Lamborghini and it was a legit Lamborghini and you could sell it, and you wanted to sell it for $10,000 and you made that offer and it was a legit, you'd have no problem finding customers.
They have no problem finding customers at $200,000.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
But even more, an irresistible offer at 10,000, and most people don't focus on that. They focus on all the, how can I distribute this? How can I get this out to people? How can I get my traffic? How can I get more traffic?
Yeah.
But their offers just suck.
And that's the biggest thing, right? Is like, if you have a great product, I rarely ever see a great product who doesn't have the creativity, the resourcefulness to go find marketers and affiliates to help them get distribution.
Yep. We run an agent. I run an agency. The easiest part is when 90% of it's off our hands, right? When the client has great content and a great product or service. And
you're like, oh, all I have to do is spend money to get YouTube to get YouTube to put this in front of our target audience who already wants to buy this and is searching for it in real time. Okay. Like, it's so easy once you understand the game. Exactly. But again, right, people get caught up, and that's why my focus is sales and marketing, but I lead with personal branding. So I sound different than everybody else. And I also do believe that having a personal brand on social media, like Elon Musk, it can be one of the greatest things anybody ever does. If you leverage a personal brand correctly, I believe that your product and business is going to be successful no matter what, if you do it the right way. Like, I think we can both agree, anything Elon Musk does, if he wants it to be successful, he'll find a way.
Which is why I'm a believer in growing my own name versus my business name, because I could take my name wherever I go. My business is now tied to one specific thing. If I have to adapt or pivot, it's hard. But my own name, I can sell whatever I want.
Exactly. Like, Gary Vaynerchuk grows his personal brand. Tony Robbins grows his personal brand, so that if they move to a charity, a book, a podcast, a TV show, a new business, a new product, a new investment, a new fund, it doesn't matter. They bring their credibility with them. But it's like, I tell people all the time, if you're not trying to grow $1 billion brand or $100 million brand because you're not trying to sell the next Coca-Cola or Nike or Zoom or Ring, you're not trying to sell $1 billion brand, then I think you should just build your personal brand.
So let's talk about that. Because before we wrap up, I want to get super tactical for a second. What are the core steps to building a personal brand? The must follow rules, the Bible, according to Mark Lack, on how to build a personal brand.
So first, you got to understand how you want to be perceived in the marketplace, right? Like Frank Kern is an example. He's a marketer who used to have like a ponytail and a tank top and board shorts and sandals. And he was like, hey guys, I can teach you how to make money on the internet. I'm Frank Kern. And people were like, and he's like, I'm so stupid and I make millions of dollars selling anything. And if I can do it on the beach with a laptop and a surfboard, you can too. And that resonated with a lot of people, because they're like, wow, this guy is either really good at acting or he actually is just like a stupid surfer marketer, and he's doing it, so I can do it. And because he was perceived that way, you had trust. You're like, God, this guy can't be acting. He must. And then you look him up and you're like, oh, this Frank Kern guy really is like that. He's adapted now. And now he's shaved his hair. He's got it slicked back. He wears a full suit and tie, and he's going after corporations. When he was the internet marketer, he wanted guys like me in the beginning, when I was like, oh, dude, I want to be like this guy. He makes money just doing surfing at the beach and checks his laptop. I want to be like that. And now he's going after like Fortune 500 companies, and he knows that guy's never going to get a foot in the door. So he put on a suit and a tie, and he slicked back his hair, and he cut his ponytail. And now he's like the evolved, matured Frank Kern. If nobody knows Frank, hopefully that visual helps you. Same guy, different audience that he wants to perceive him a certain way. Super smart marketer. He adapted and grew. So how do you want to be perceived? That's the first thing you've got to understand. How do you want to be perceived? The next thing is, what is the problem that you're actually going to solve? Because at the end of the day, people are going to follow you because they feel like you're solving a problem. The attractive influencer solving the problem of boredom. I'm bored and I'm going to follow this person, or I'm going to engage with their stuff. Or the influencer like Jake Paul and Logan Paul with their fighting and boxing of Mayweather and Tyron Woodley, like that right there, that's entertainment. They create this semi-real, semi-false narrative of controversy and who I'm going to fight so that we're all entertained and we want to watch that. So entertainment, there's attractiveness. What is the problem that you want to solve? Those people are solving a problem, right? And they'll find a way to monetize it and make money. And then obviously there's education as well. I like to solve the problem of education. I'm not here to let me pretend to fight somebody. Let me be a model and post photos. I'm here to be like, yo, I'm gonna help you change your life. None of those people are gonna change your life. They're actually gonna probably ruin your life from wasting time on entertainment. Nothing in your life's better when you're done with them. Hopefully with me, your life's better when you're done with me, because I've educated you and I've helped you move closer to the things you want and further away from the things you don't want. Like a marketer, right? Avoid pain and gain pleasure. I'm gonna help you achieve the things you want most in life. Financial freedom, time freedom, become a better version of yourself. The problem is my stuff is not as sexy, because people are like, I'm on social media for the attractive person or for the entertaining videos, not for your education. So my audience, and any educational person, will always have a smaller audience. So what problem do you want to solve? Right? Just get clear on that. The chiropractor wants to help people with health and wellness and mobility and feeling better and getting more in alignment. I want to help people get customers and build a following and an audience and a brand and become like the big fish in a small pond and leverage their personal brand to be the mayor of their town or their niche. And so what is the perception you want to have? Meaning, how do you want people to perceive you? Then what is the problem that you're actually going to solve? And is that problem big enough right now where people are actually already paying for it? Like, you're not telling me like, oh my gosh, you know what I want to do? I want to create this new thing nobody's doing. I'm going to be like, Jesus, I'm gonna be like, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Find a problem that people are already paying to solve. That's massive distinction. Find a problem people are already paying to solve. And then from there, you know how you want to be perceived and how you're going to control that perception by being your authentic self. And then you know what problem you want to solve. And then you're going to move into the next thing, identifying who that target audience is that has that problem that's paying for it. Because, for example, I could go after so many people. I solve the problem of how people get customers and growing their audience and becoming more well-known. But let's be honest, everybody who's in business has that problem. Everybody, if I'm at a conference in front of 10,000 people, I go, raise your hand if you want more customers. Everybody's hand goes up, but everybody could be at a different stage, different business, different product, different offer. So after you know the problem that you want to solve, people are already paying for, you need to get clear on your niche. Not everybody who's paying for that problem, because everybody wants more customers. Who specifically am I going to work for? So now, am I going to be perceived as the real estate guy who's a family man who helps you get the best deal on buying or selling your home only in San Diego if your home is $1 to $2 million? Do you see how I just controlled that narrative? I'm perceived as the family man, Christian realtor. That's my perception, who helps you with the problem of buying or selling at the best rate possible for first-time home buyers or first-time sellers. That's getting down to my niche and target audience. So I took perception to problem to niche. And that's the whole formula right there. Boom. Now you know your target audience. How are you going to reach them? Where are they? Are you going to do newsletters, magazines, radio, television, social media, Facebook, YouTube, Google? What are you going to do to reach the audience? Perception, problem, target audience, or niche. And then how are you going to reach them? Where are they hanging out? What platforms? Now, my suggestion is always going to be like the big four: Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube. And you can throw LinkedIn in there if you want as well. Those are the big five, if you want to call them that. And those are great places to start. But sometimes I don't recommend you start there. You might actually be better, as terrible as it sounds, you might be great doing a newspaper or magazine, depending on who your audience is. Old people still read newspapers and magazines. Younger people don't. So knowing who your audience is and how you're going to reach them is key. And then what is your problem that you're going to solve for them, and with your solution now? So now what is the solution to the problem? So we talked about the problem. What's the solution, and how are you going to actually be able to communicate how you can provide that solution and a unique value proposition that shows, here's why I'm unique. Here's the value that you're going to get. If you buy and work from me, I'm also going to make sure that there's zero risk. So how do you explain, I have the solution that's different and better than anything else out there. In fact, if you work with me, I'll take away all the risk, which could be a warranty, a money back guarantee, some type of, proposal where it's like, look, I'll give you double your money back. Look, if it goes above closing costs, I'll cover the closing costs to make sure that you get taken care of. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can take the risk off the table for the customer. So they go, man, if it wasn't already enough that you, like me, are a family man, Christian man, who's also going to help me with a first-time buyer or seller of a home, and you're going to cover me in this unique way to cover the risk, you're the only person that I'd ever choose to work with. And that's the perception. And I can go on Instagram and I can see all of this stuff to come to my own perception that you're all of those things, because on your social media, that's what I can see about you. And so those are kind of the basic steps. And then from there, the kind of like the homework to do is you create content, broad and niche, broad content about you as the Christian man, the family man, the guy who travels, the guy who's trying to be healthy, sharing all the things about your personal life. And then the niche. Hey, if you're a first-time home buyer or seller, here's the things you need to know. Here's the 7 questions you need to ask your real estate agent. Here's the 3 things you need to know about the market right now, and if it's a good time to buy or sell. And so your social media is you as the personal person and you as the professional person. So then when I find you on social, every day, every week, every month, that type of content is being posted on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram.
And you said 60-30, right? 60% on your niche.
60-40, yeah.
Okay, 60-40.
Yeah, 60-40.
Yeah, that math adds up better than mine. Yeah. 10% something else. We're not going to tell you the 10%. You got to go sign up with Mark and sign up for his program. Swipe up. Yeah.
So yeah, bro. So is that good? Is that the good enough framework?
That was great. But now the question is going to come when you start putting out stuff. You're going to get haters, right? You're going to annoy people. You're going to get people saying shit and trolling you. How do you advise those people that you work with that aren't used to it? Like right now, you're used to it. You got that confidence. You got that I don't care, like me or hate me, get off my page type of thing.
Yeah.
How do you develop that thick skin when you're first getting started?
It's tough because I think instinctually our human psychology, if you study psychology, is one of our deepest desires and wants as all human beings on this planet is to feel like we're loved and to feel like we're worthy of being part of a society and a community. Because deep down inside of us, we know back in like caveman days and pilgrims and Indian days, that if we weren't loved and we weren't worthy and we weren't accepted by our society and community, we were ex-nayed, we were either killed or we were, kicked out into the jungle where we would die. And so all of us deep down inside, our deepest wants and needs is to be loved and to feel worthy and accepted. And so if you can understand that that's really what our deepest wants are, that when somebody hates on you and your body naturally goes, and you feel all bad inside because you're like, oh God. And you feel like whatever your need is, usually it's either to fight back, right? Fight or flight. It's like, I'm either going to say, screw you. And I'm going to start to message this person back, which usually is a waste of time.
Yep.
Or I'm going to curry in. I'm going to freeze and be like, I can't do this anymore. This was the wrong choice. I'm not meant for this. I can't do this anymore. Because your internal, this is a deep one. Your internal identity is so fragile that someone's message on social media can help start to alter your identity.
That's great.
My identity for myself is so strong that it doesn't matter if somebody says something on social media. I can smile and I can say, that is some perception you're having of me. I'll do a better job controlling my perception. Remember the first thing I said, control your perception. Because if I controlled the perception in a certain way that made that person happy, they wouldn't have said the negative comment, but then a different person would have said a negative comment. So you'll never find, sorry, my dog's over here growling. You'll never find that perfect balance where everybody's perception is going to love you. Every president has half the world hate them, half the world love them. Every famous person, Justin Bieber, has half the world hated him at one point, half the world loved him. Logan Paul and Jake Paul, half the world hates them, half the world loves them. Maybe it's higher for them. I don't know. But you get the point.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you just got to know, like, God didn't make us all because we're perfect. Right? I believe God only made one of you. God only made one of me. And we're going to find the people that love us for us. Now, I wish that all of us could go to the cosmos and all be one, right? And all of us come from the same place. All of us could just be one, but that's just not reality on this earth, unfortunately. And so sometimes you have to drop into your bodily mind and be like, okay, people aren't going to like me, even though we're all one. It's okay. People aren't going to like me. I got to make my identity strong enough that no external stuff, comments, people, hate, is going to disrupt my internal peace. So how do you do that? Well, I have my one sheet here of goals, of affirmations, and I have different things that I'll read on here. And I don't do this always, but it's a good practice where I'll listen to things, audiobooks. I'll listen to Brain Conditioning from John Assaraf, one of my mentors. I read these affirmations. I'm a multimillionaire. I'm smart with my money, and my investments always pay me huge returns. I have all the knowledge, skills, and connections to achieve my goals. Nothing will stop me from building my wealth and legacy. People love to do business with me and support me in achieving my goals. All the connections and opportunities I need come to me at just the right time. Jenna and I, who's my wife, get to live the life we've always dreamed of because we are rich. We get to take care of our friends, family, and impact the world in charities and causes we want. Our foundation helps thousands of people each year. I'm so grateful all these goals will be achieved in the time frame I set them. And it goes on and on. And then I'm always doing the work. And so I'm working on myself. So when somebody tries to throw an egg at me, their judgment and perception is so flawed. They have no clue how deep down the iceberg goes of my life, my work, who I am, what I'm doing, what I'm going through. And so I just remember that at the end of the day, like, your little comment is not going to disrupt me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you just have to.
I love it. And thank you so much for opening up and sharing that. Cause I mean, many people will just say, I write down goals and just leave it at that. No, I think what you said, super
It's
important.
on my desk. It's on my desk underneath my keyboard. So every day it's right there. I just pull it out on my keyboard and I pull it up and I read it in between times when I'll read it multiple times a day, in between times. So I've got my 2021 goals. I've got my 2025 goals. And then I have a list of just positive affirmations and incantations as I read off some of them to you guys. And so just imagine, I read that to myself every single day. You think your little weak ass comment's going to disrupt me? You think your weak ass comment, and it's always Jimmy 123 who's broke, who's broke and just got fired from Chick-fil-A and is on unemployment. It's always that person who's writing the hateful comment. It's never a guy like you or me who's got a family and children and a successful company and podcast where we impact people. We don't have time to hate. So just remember that. It's the schlub of the earth. It's the scum on the bottom of your shoe that's trying to go me. And I just laugh. Like, if I had some successful person I look up to, like Tony Robbins, commented on my thing and it was like, Mark, you're a douchebag, then I might be like, it still wouldn't upset me, but I'd be like, interesting. I wonder what I did to make a successful person like Tony, my mentor, throw hate and shade my way. That's never happened. It never will happen. Those are the people who message me and say, Mark, keep doing great work. Mark, keep doing what you're doing. Mark, keep shining, keep making a difference in people's lives. That's the messages you get from people like you and me, right? And so just remember, that's the other side of it too, is make your identity so strong that a weak ass comment's not going to disrupt you. And maybe 1,000 comments isn't going to disrupt you. And then also just remember that the person making the most noise is always a piggy bank with a couple nickels in it, not a full piggy bank. Full piggy banks don't make noise. It's the piggy bank with like a penny in it that you shake always makes the most noise. So it's always the broke, unhealthy, sloppy, depressed person who's going to throw shade your way, because really it's a reflection of themselves. I would never throw shade or hate on somebody because I know that deep down inside, if I did that, it's because some part of me is actually triggered from something else going on in my life. Right.
And if everyone's writing horrible things about you, maybe there is something wrong with you as a person that you need to take a look at.
Exactly. And if there is only negative comments, then maybe
read the room.
Maybe the first part is the perception. You're not controlling your perception, or you're intentionally trying to hit the beehive in such a way. So yeah, man, I mean, there's so much we could talk about, but hopefully those are two powerful things for people.
No, that was great. And dude, thank you so much for doing this. Before I let you go, I got to ask one question. You've worked with some of the biggest names, right? Like some huge names. So I got to ask, right? Like, why do these people need personal branding help when they got the biggest name, when their name alone is so valuable?
So see, it was one of the smart things that I made a intelligent bet on, that in 2013, 14, 15, when I was really starting to build the foundation for this. And now I'm at that level where, I'm grateful to have the unique privilege and opportunity where celebrity introductions are made to me. And I get the opportunity to work with some of these celebrities on their brands, and they already have a big personal brand. They're famous. Some of these people are truly celebrity famous people. And, to be honest, it's that they have a celebrity brand. They don't know how to monetize. And that's what it comes down to is they have to have the TV company pay them. They have to have YouTube pay them. They don't feel fully in control because the only way that they know how to make money is when a commercial pays them, is when a sponsor pays them. And at some point you got to kind of feel a little bit sleazy being like, here's Yankee Candle and they paid me $50,000. Man, I love the smell of a Yankee Candle. That's what's going to pay my Lamborghini and mortgage bill this month was Yankee Candle. Thank you, Yankee Candle. At some point, you got to be like, I got millions of followers and the only way I make money is when Yankee Candle pays me. Some part of you starts to feel bad after a while. Like I only make money when I do a TV show or when I do a book deal or when I do this thing. And so they want to have their own income, which is why you see them starting like t-shirt companies. You see them starting, memberships, or you see them starting apps, right? I had a new fitness app. You see people trying all these new things. Because if they're trying it themselves, I've been hired to come in a lot of these celebrity brands. Jesus, they hire cheap talent because they think they're the only hot thing that deserves a big check. So they hire cheap ass talent. This is not everybody. You can't throw a blanket on everybody, but in some scenarios, they hire all the worst talent because they want to hire cheap talent. That shouldn't cost that much. You deserve $20 million, but other people don't deserve to make good money. And so sometimes they hire the worst people so that I have to come in. They go, Mark, I've already put $1 million into this and it's not working. It's not making money. And you might see it on the internet and have heard about it, but you don't realize how shitty behind the curtain actually is. I do, because I'm the one who gets hired. I'm the cleanup crew. I get hired to either come in and clean up the mess somebody else made and then fix it, or I get hired to come in on day one because they've heard Mark's the guy, his company's the guys. I got 23 employees in my company, and we come in, and from day one, we can help you build the infrastructure.
So what does an audit process look like for you then?
We have a big questionnaire of about 200 to 300 questions, depending on the client, depending on the product or service, what they have in place. We'll send them 200 to 300 questions, or sometimes they're too good to sit down and write it. So I'll sit down with you and I'll jump on a Zoom call and I'll ask every question over a call because it's easier for you to articulate it. I get it. I'm the same way sometimes. I'm like, can we do this over the phone? Because I'd rather talk. I'm a fast talker. I can talk faster than I can type. And so, so we take people through an auditing process. One of the other things that we're really good at too is making sure that you're 100% TCPA compliant, DMCA compliant, and just making sure that you're legally protected, that you're following all the rules when marketing, when targeting people, and then also controlling the perception again of like making sure that you don't come off as like, oh, this person's a douche, they're trying to sell something to our audience, and making sure that you come off in a really good way where maybe you do a for-profit model where, people aren't going to throw shade on you and hate on you as much if what you're launching is part of your charity raise. Hey guys, I'm launching this thing and we're going to donate X percentage of the profit or revenue to this charity or multiple charities. And so then it's like, I'm doing this because my audience has asked for it. And you do kind of like what we call like a rollout, where your audience first told you, hey, would you guys want me to launch this? Would you want me to share something like this with you? You've got their buy-in. So like if I'm going to sell on stage, I first get the audience. Hey, would you guys, before I wrap up, I got 5 minutes left. And the person putting on the event told me that I could share something, an invitation with you guys. Would you guys want me to personally work with you over the next 6 months to help you build your personal brand, your marketing, your funnel, and have my entire team become your team and build it all for you? So you can just tell us what you want to accomplish, which customers you want, and we'll go get them for you. Would that be interesting? Raise your hand if so. Great. Okay. So I have your permission to share with you in the last 5 minutes. Fantastic. So you get what's called a buy-in from the audience. You get a permission-based sale. So now everyone's giving me permission to sell them. And then people feel a lot better when they've given you permission. So it's just a little psychological thing like, hey, is it okay if I sell you right now? And if you say yes, then it feels a lot smoother for me to sell you. Then for some people, they just transition into a sale and you're like, here comes the pitch. And it's a lot, and it's like sleazy. But if I get you to buy in first, then it's not. So same concept. You get the celebrity to get their audience to buy in to being sold. And then when they share it, it's like, hey guys, remember over the last week, I've been asking you questions. Well, guess what? I took all your feedback and here it is. We made it for you. We made it for you. That's the difference. Not I'm selling you. We made this for you. And so there's a lot of different ways we guide celebrities through how to ethically and integrally share in a way that doesn't have everybody go, I can't believe you're a sellout. I can't believe this. And so another little thing that we bring to the table is making sure that we guide them and navigate them through how to not come off as a douche when selling something, whether that's education, entertainment, You see Logan Paul does, swipe up for my
Yep.
membership. So a lot of people nowadays are doing things where it's like, pay me $9.99 a month to get exclusive content, bonuses, prizes. I'll fly you out, have lunch with me. Really, it's an access model. You get access to me, access to my team, access to my exclusive content, maybe access to a weekly or monthly Zoom call or private Facebook group where I go live and answer your questions. So those different types of models is how we navigate people. But to answer your question, it's not that they have a huge brand and they're hiring me to help them with their personal brand. They have a bigger personal brand than I do, right? I'm not trying to be a famous celebrity. I'm just trying to become even more of like the go-to person in personal branding.
Yep.
And so inevitably, I work with thousands of companies a year who are just regular everyday people. And then I work with some celebrity brands. Those celebrity brands obviously know what to do to get attraction and attention. They just don't know how to monetize it. And so my kind of mantra is I know how to monetize attention. So if you have eyeballs, if you have attention, if you have an audience, I know how to make a shit ton of money off of it in a way that is going to come off really in alignment with your values. And we can, depending on what your goals are and your perception you want to have, we can make sure that your audience receives it really well, that they buy in first. And you can do the sale publicly or you can do the sale privately, which is like, let me invite you to a private Zoom call or off social media, and I'll make the pitch happen behind the curtain, so to speak. So I never publicly sell. So there's a lot of different ways we navigate this with celebrities, and it's that expertise and that guidance that makes us priceless. And then we're obviously some of the best at sales and marketing when it comes down to the actual selling of the whole thing.
I'll wrap up with this last question. This is going to be a hard one for you because you read over 1,000 books. The top 5 books that not every entrepreneur should read. I don't want the cliche answer, but the top 5 books that made Mark Lack who he is today. And that's a great personal brander, a great marketer, great in sales, great in coaching. The 5 books.
Yeah, that is going to be tough. These ones, because of the context of the question, what helped me become who I am. Which I appreciate, because some people just say top 5 books. And I'm like, top 5 books for scientists, marketers, moms, dads. So I appreciate you putting context. I would say How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'd say Think and Grow Rich. And for people who are like, these are so cliche and standard. Yeah, because they're world famous, best books ever. It's like remembering to brush your teeth and tie your shoes. You should do them every damn day. And yes, it's mundane and simple, but if you don't do them, you become a homeless person. And so How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich. Then Awaken the Giant Within, Tony Robbins. That one is like right there. Awaken the Giant Within, Tony Robbins. That one's amazing. It's like 700 pages. It's like a Harry Potter book, but man, that is one of the best books ever. Obviously you can buy the books I'm referring right now as an Audible if you like to listen. Damn, there's a lot of really good ones. It depends how high level people want to go, but I'd say Spiral Dynamics by Claire Graves. Whew, that one will make you a world famous political thought leader, communicator. That one is how you can become just deadly with communication skills. Then
what about in terms of sales? Your best sales book that had the biggest impact on you?
This one's not a sales book, but I do want to throw this one on the list as well because it changed my life. Darren Hardy's The Compound Effect, which talks about like the 8th wonder of the world, compounding interest and compounding effect. How if you just get 1% better every day for 10 years, you're going to look back and be like, oh my God, I'm the healthiest, wealthiest, happiest, best version of myself possible. And I only got 1% better in all areas every day for 10 years. And now I'm 3,600% better. If only it worked that way, but you get the point, right? Damn, best sales book, bro. I got a lot. And some of them aren't necessarily sales books, but they're copywriting. So I've read a few hundred sales books and copywriting books. And I think that that's probably what makes me more well-rounded and versatile than a lot of people who are just copywriters because they didn't read Spiral Dynamics. They didn't read influence and persuasion books and psychology books and strategic intervention books, which is deep down evolutionary consciousness theory and why we do what we do from deep down inside of us. And so I think all of those things is what helps make me a more versatile marketer and salesperson because I didn't just only focus on Brian Tracy's 21 selling tactics, and old school stuff. So there's the 16-word sales letter. That's an amazing one. I love that one, but it's copywriting. But again, copywriting is sales and influence. I love Robert Cialdini's classics, influence and persuasion. I love both of those books. I know I've gone over 5 now. There you go, right there. That's the updated version. So I'm over 5 now because I have so many that I could recommend. Copy Logic is great. I love Copy Logic. It's a really simple one.
Have you read this one yet?
Yeah. The Ultimate Sales Letter. Some of your book covers look different than mine. I have a different version. I love Jay Abraham, all of Jay Abraham's stuff. He has a great book. He's a legend. He's a legend. He's like the $20 billion marketing extraordinaire. I love Jay. How to get everything you can out of all you've got is one of his books that's just really good about teaching you how to be resourceful and creative, which is like one of Jay's superpowers. There's the classic advertising book. I'm trying to remember what the name of it is.
Breakthrough advertising.
Breakthrough advertising. There you go. Yeah, the classic black book.
Yeah.
Breakthrough advertising. That one's good. You can go down the rabbit hole and you can get Gary Halbert stuff if you want to go like old school, like copywriting.
And you and I got to start a book club. We read all the same books. So yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I love it.
There's a lot. And obviously I could turn around and I could look at this back here. Yeah. I love Chet Holmes, unfortunately passed away, but Chet Holmes has a just amazing library. I have like all of his DVDs down there. For his like $20,000 mastermind. Chet Holmes' material is great. He's one of the few people to get Jay Abraham to partner with him. He
also partnered with Tony Robbins. Like
he also partnered with Tony Robbins. Yeah. Brad Sugars has a full series of business stuff. Right there. This whole section is all Brad Sugars books right here. And he's got like Billionaire in Training. He's got sales. He's got a whole section on like everything you need to know from start to finish. Yeah, dude, I could keep going. I love
it. Yeah.
Tim Ferriss's Book of Titans, the Titan book, which is like 1,000 interviews of successful people and like little synopsises of what has made their life, become a Titan. So yeah, dude, there's so many good books. Like books will change your life. I mean, now I'm reading a lot of books on like taxes and stuff, which I hate, because I'm paying a lot in taxes by my definition. And so I'm trying to better understand. I got a good tax advisor and CPA, but you don't want to get into trouble because you know nothing about it and you're.
Dude, we're so much alike. It's crazy. Like I'll hire the people, but I still want to know everything. I want to know. I want to know. I don't want to just listen to people. I want to know everything.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Especially when it's my millions of dollars. I'm like, I want to make sure I'm not just trusting Bob, but I want to make sure Bob knows what
Bob's got my back. Bob's got my back. Yeah.
Yeah. But cool. Bob might keep me at 28% tax. Really, I'm above 50, but I'm moving things around ethically and legally to be at 28. And I think I can get it down to 0 with 5 trusts that lead into a 501c3 nonprofit. So you got to shift off the 1040 tax code books to the 1041, which is tax law under trusts and foundations.
There's a great book that someone gave me about all these things. I'll DM you on Instagram. I forget the name of it. I'll pull it up and send it to you.
And then, bro, we could talk about books like from the government and the Fed and the secret life of real estate and the monster from Jekyll Island, like, and all the stuff about the Fed and the government. Cause you really need to know, like, once you start making money, you need to know what is money and where does it come from. And
do you read like non-business books? Do you read like nonfiction, like fiction books?
I don't read fiction books because I'd rather watch a $500 million Avengers movie where they spent $500 million to.
Man, I got so much better at copy by reading spy novels, like by just going and watching spy novels.
For sure.
They're great. How it's like paints the picture, short chapters.
That's true. That is a really good real life example where they're not teaching copywriting, they're just doing it to you.
Yeah.
And so I love that you brought that up.
Awesome. Dude, thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate you. For the audience who wants to reach out to you and learn more, how can they find you?
Just head over to Shorten the Gap, shortenthegap.com. And I've got interviews, I've got resources. You can join my newsletter. You can see programs that we have. You can follow me on social media. Otherwise, just look up my name, Mark Lack, on social.
I'll link it up. Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate you.
Appreciate you too, bro.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want, check out our most recent video over here. And this one is the one YouTube thinks you'll like. But if you really enjoyed watching, please do me a favor, like and subscribe over here. Thank you so much.